welcome. We're doing another live stream today. And again, it's for homework. That's an important thing to know because I'll bring that back up later. And that everything was treated as a god. Not necessarily a god, but the religion was that everything had a living soul. And that'll be important. So the assignment today is to discuss art's role. What is the role of art? Is it important? What does it do? And so I'm gonna be talking about playing this game because this game is kind of the embodiment of art's role. It takes a lot of folklore and fairy tales with the style of traditional block printing. And so our first story here is, I believe, Yamada no Orochi. I'm not pronouncing that right. The seven-headed serpent. And how he would demand the sacrifice of a young maiden every year. Now this part is added in the White Wolf, Shirodui. Is added in for gameplay purposes. This was not in the actual fairy tale. I played it on the Wii, and I can say there is a very nice improvement between that and the PS4, which is what I'm playing now. It is a gorgeous game. I love the art. If you go through the very early demo, the art they were gonna go with was very similar to previous games they've made, which is Monster Hunter, which is this very realistic style, but it didn't fit. They made the choice to make their art look like a block print. The whole world looks like a block print. If you don't know what a block print is, it's the art of ukiyo-e, where you carve into a wood block and you put on the ink and you press that block into the color. Okay. So, as I was saying, block printing is when you carve into the wood and you put the ink on, you press it on the paper. And it's an art form that originated in China but became very well known in Japan, mostly during the Edo period, which is a very long period, which is, let me see, the Edo period, exact dates. The exact dates are 1603 to 1860. I was gonna say 1600s to 1800s, so I was close. So they use that because, as we'll get into, a lot of the artwork depicted traditional fairy tales, ghost stories, and legends. So the first artwork we're going to talk about today is The Lantern Ghost Iwa by Katsushika Hokusai, made in 1830, part of his 100 Ghost Stories series. It's a small piece, it's 12 inches by 10 inches, so it's, just a bit bigger than your average notebook. And that's, small compared to a lot of works you might see on the wall, specifically paintings, and that's because it's a block print, and that each part, each layer is done in a separate block. So it took a lot of time, a lot of patience, and a lot of work. But it depicts a lantern ghost. When Buddhism blended with Shintoism, they grew this belief that everything has a spirit. And when an item reached 100 years old, it's older than 99, even if it's older than 99 years old, it manifested. Chochinobake is the name of the lantern. Oh wait, no, this is Paper Lantern Ghost, but it's showing a different image. Obake, I believe, is the general term. Don't quote me yet. I had this stuff all open and now I don't. Obake. A class of supernatural creatures featured in Japanese folklore. So yeah, so Obake are the items that lived over 99 years and have manifested. And they manifest differently depending on how they were treated. So an item that wasn't taken care of but still managed to, stick around that long would often become vengeful. And sometimes, it just the nature of the being is in the item, and sometimes it changes depending on how the item was treated. And we can see a modern example of that in the recent Pokemon Poltergeist plays on the word Ocha, which is Japanese for green tea, and Poltergeist is revealed to be a vengeful spirit of a teacup that was mistreated, and you can see it actually has a little crack in its cup, which is really interesting. So it shows that not only is this idea still around, it's still coming out through art, and art is portraying the cultural belief, the cultural importance of taking care of your items, because they weren't very materialistic, so what you did have, you treated well. You're not supposed to have a whole lot, but you're still supposed to treat it well. And so, the Lantern Ghost Eva is one such item. So this one's specifically a story claimed to be based on a real event. A lot of these, they're claimed to be real. One Lantern Ghost story is this wife, she's dying of this disease, and it's incurable, and the husband, instead of taking care of her, leaves her for another woman and comes back, and when she asks where he's been, he kind of, he beats around the bush, he lies, and so when she dies, her spirit sees him. He's out with this lady, her spirit's going up, and she's so upset she gets caught in a lantern. And I believe that's what this one is. Oh, this is a different one. He poisoned his wife and was haunted by her. The one I'm thinking of is slightly different. Of course, the stories could be, from the same origin, just a little change, which happens a lot. But we see how these stories are a reflection of culture, and we make this art to spread that story, to spread that culture. Because block prints are very easy to make many of. You can just print. And so a lot of times when you're doing a block print, you'll do an edition. You'll have several editions of the one print. So I'll wrap around to another block print later. I just want to bring that one up first because of the nature of this game and the nature of the culture within this game. So let's go into another bit about block printing. Block printing wasn't just in Japan. When when Gutenberg invented the printing press, we were able to now print the pictures we see in books. Previously, they were hand-drawn. Specifically, you would see a lot of it in Bibles. Bibles had a lot of very meticulous hand-drawn work. Some of it was just silly things to fill in the space, and some of it was to depict events and creatures that were shown talking about in the Bible. So when we get the printing press, now we can mass produce this book, and now we can mass produce the pictures in this book. And I'm going to talk about another book that was mass produced, Historia Naturalis by, I believe it was the Elder Pliny, wasn't it? So the Elder Pliny was the one who first wrote it, but we're going to talk about John Johnston's edition. John Johnston is the one who illustrated the block prints, for the 1657 printing of this book. And because it is an encyclopedia of nature, not just nature, but the focus we're talking about is the nature part, there is a lot of prints of many animals, and it goes to show what people still believed in at this time, both in the original printing and this printing. which is some crazy stuff. We see all kinds of fantastic fish, these weird dragon things that were in actuality made from different parts of fish. Sailors just kind of glued them together. But people believed in it. And they believed in the stories in the Bible, even if some of them were unfortunately mistranslations, such as the unicorn. They believed in it because it was in the Bible. So we see these creatures like the unicorn, the dragon, the phoenix. We see these in this natural history book that's supposed to be natural history. It's supposed to be real. So we're seeing art depicting what we're supposed to be seeing, and even if you weren't someone who went outside to actually see this stuff, you can see this stuff in a book. You say, wow, it's in a book, it must be true because this guy is so-and-so and he wrote it and he put it down on paper for me. And it kind of reflects a little bit about what was going on. Even though literacy was on the rise by then, you know, not everybody's gonna go out and make the effort to find these animals and prove whether or not they're real. We can today, but it just goes to show that, again, art is a reflection of our values and our culture. We have some pretty crazy stuff that people still believed in. Some people still even believe in today. And we can see this art still has a reflection, an impact. This art still has an impact on us today. Block prints are kind of very unique in their style. And one note I'd like to make is the appearance of this style in the video game The Last Guardian, where the head director used some of this art by John Johnston in the opening scene, mixed with his own art depicting his own creature as if it were real. Which is, I think, very fascinating. That's something I want to do myself because it's such an interesting art style to me. So that's another instance where art reflects the culture in its values and beliefs. And it not only reflects it, but it spreads it. Just like the ukiyo-e, it spreads this belief that these animals are real. Something that's a little different from block prints, but still has the same goal, are stained glass. I'm sure you've all heard stained glass is there to show the stories of the Bible. And it does. If you go to a local church with stained glass, like the one here, St. Mary's, you will see various stories of the Bible depicted in stained glass. I love that church. I think it's beautiful. I wanted to get married there. They said, no, you have to be a Catholic and go through our 4-month regimen. And I was like, sorry. But I did go to another church that still had beautiful stained glass, wonderful pews, wonderful wedding. But the stained glass is what we're talking about. I want to mention the North and South rows from Notre Dame. They were made in 1250, and they both depict the various, various parts of the Christian religion. Catholic, because they're Catholic. The Catholic religion. They were ordered by the King of France at the time. King Louis IX ordered these two roses, and it's constructed of around 1250. Oh no, constructed in 1250. I'm sorry. I had all this stuff written down and it's all over the place, so please forgive me. So it's constructed in 1250 and depicts the Last Judgment over 84 panels. But it also shows some other things like various saints, Jesus of course, and really it just goes to show the religion and how it's, you know, even if you can't read, you can still see the values that are held by this belief that you should also be believing in. Of the building, you can see straight across these windows. So you can see these windows, you can see the stories they're telling, and you can infer what they're telling you just from the pictures. So you don't have to read. There'll be a guy there to read for you. The guy will tell you all you need to know. Okami Amaterasu. So that again shows the importance of art in depicting our cultural and social beliefs. Oh my gosh, please don't look at that. This game is rated T, but sometimes it should be M. I forgot how much text there was in this. Can I skip? Here we can see a reference to Hokusai's Great Wave. My last artwork is another block print, Recovering the Stolen Jewel from the Palace of the Dragon King. Wow, that's a long title. By Utagawa Kuniyoshi. This one was made in 1853, so we're still in the Edo period. And this one depicts the story of the Dragon King and how a samurai, I believe, had stolen his pearl, and he and all his many men of the sea tried to retrieve it. I don't remember the whole story, unfortunately, but so this is another showing of the spreading of the culture through artwork. This artwork shows a fairy tale, less likely of something that's going to happen to you, but it's still a value that they hold, and so it's still something important that they're depicting through their art. Can I can skip? Oh my god!